Okay, you guys, I sent everybody a copy of this document that talks about our subdivision design project. One of the things I wanted to just say is that part of my purpose in this class is to introduce you guys to a lot of different types of documents, including legal descriptions, deeds, plats of survey, certified survey maps, and subdivision plats. And then I do want you to take the time to just read this part right here, because I think this is an important thing to understand. And let's just take a second to look at this paragraph right here. It says that it should be noted that an actual retracement, meaning on the ground, of section lines, recovery and field location of existing monumentation of property corners, and evidence of possession and occupation by landowners can have an impact upon the ultimate determination of property lines and ownership. So that's something we should realize. And primarily the reason for that is simply because when we look at the fact that if we take our parcel here and we say, if I put it back temporarily here to where it belongs, we can see that there are in fact a little overlap here, and there's a little gap over here, and that's just kind of the nature of the game in this sort of work. We're working with legal descriptions, some of which are fairly old, and that's the nature of the beast here. The only way we're going to be able to resolve these property line issues, these small overlaps and gaps, is by field work. So we don't have the option of doing that this semester. So I'm just going to move this back. Sorry here. Move P for previous. Yeah, okay, there we go. And so, hang on a second. Okay, and we're back. What I did want to say, what I wanted to just look at with you guys today is in this document that I gave you called Subdivision Design Exercise, we've done most of these initial steps. I want to take a look at step number 6 with you guys. Every community is going to have something called a subdivision control ordinance. Okay, and a subdivision control ordinance, here is the term, and we're going to follow these ordinance requirements for the town of Lisbon as we proceed. So here we can see that one of the requirements is that the right-of-way width for any street that we create in our design must be exactly 66 feet. Here's another one. All street intersections must be right angles. I'm not going to hold you to this one. Let's just cross this one out here. Let's ignore that one. That's not really necessary. But this one is, we have to have a minimum lot size of 40,000 square feet, so a little less than an acre. Okay? And that's all fine and dandy. And then hang on, let me see if I can move this up. Okay. And then this talks a little bit about, this is actual verbiage from the ordinance. It says that lots must be designed with suitable proportion, and it's just saying that you can't have real long skinny lots or wide shallow lots. Every lot must front on a public street, and then side lot lines shall be substantially at right angles to street lines. So those are some ideas that we want to follow as we proceed with our design ideas. So I've only got a few minutes to do this. I'm going to try and move quickly. I've already created a layer here. I won't bother you with that, but I created a layer called Proposed Roadway Centerline, and it's my current layer. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to try and zip through this. Here's an idea. One thing you could think about is if I was working on this subdivision here, one thing I could do, I'm clearly going to make some kind of a connection to Lake 5 Road. I would also have the option of connecting to this road here, Howard's Pass, because the northerly right-of-way line of that road is the southerly line of our parcel, and I could do that, but it's not something I would want to do, really, because, and here's why. If you make that connection there, what a lot of people are going to do is use that as a shortcut. And then the people in this subdivision aren't going to enjoy the fact that all these, this is another subdivision over here, all these people are going to come through here and they're going to use that shortcut, especially if they're going north on Lake 5 Road. I've seen this happen where a subdivision comes in, they make that kind of a connection, and then the shortcut becomes such an issue that they have to close off the road. So I'd kind of recommend against making a connection here with Howard's Pass. Anyway, let's do this work over to the side. I've got my center line layer current. If I want to draw a line perpendicular to Lake 5 Road, or the easterly right-of-way line, I'm just going to use my perpendicular object snap, and I'll draw a line perpendicular. Okay? Now I'm just trying to move quickly here. Then if I want to put a tangent curve in here, I can use curve from end of object. I specify where I want the curve to be. I'm going to choose radius here. If I want this curve to the left, I'm going to enter it as a negative number. So I'll just say negative 300. And then I'll say a delta angle of, let's say, 30 degrees. Okay, so that's going to put a little curvature in there. There's my curve. Now I want a line tangent to that curve, so I can use create line from end of object, and if you read the tooltip, it'll tell you what it does. It creates a line off the end of that object, and I'll just make it 300 feet long. So that line is tangent. Okay, now let's assume that I'm trying to create a cul-de-sac here, and I'm going to make this very similar to the cul-de-sac in Lake 5 Road. I'm just going to draw a circle centered on the end point of that line with a radius of 60 feet. Okay, now I'm going to offset that center line. I'll change the layers later, but I'm just going to do an offset here of 33 feet. And I'm going to offset these lines 33 feet to create the right of way of my proposed road. Okay, pretty simple stuff here. Now if I zoom into my cul-de-sac, I'm going to do a fillet command, F for fillet. You can fillet lines and arcs. I'm going to right click and set my radius to 30 feet. So this is just like the cul-de-sac in Dale Lee Acres, and I'm going to select the curve and the line. So I'm going to say fillet. There's the line, there's the curve. And now I will do, let's see, recent commands. Where's trim? I don't see it, so I'll have to go up here and grab trim, and I'm just going to use these little arcs here to trim away this piece. So I've got a simple little cul-de-sac already designed. I might want to decide to move it down a little. It looks like it's a little too far north, so I can just do a move command. I can grab everything and I can move it from there to, oh, maybe I'll just move it down a few feet. See how that fits better? Okay, and then in the next video we'll talk about lotting, creating lots here.